Hello. Today I'm making a trip to Luxembourg. Why Luxembourg? It's a very small country, one of the smallest in the world actually. It's wedged in between Belgium, France and Germany. It's an economic powerhouse, which makes it very famous. It's one of the richest countries in the world. Some listings say it's the second richest country in the world. Luxembourg is very well known for its wines. Luxembourg City, the capital city, has a network of tunnels which go for about 17 kilometers, worth looking at. I'll try to go in there and see them today and show them to you, of course. And last but not least, Luxembourg has 3 official languages: French, German and Luxembourgish, which is a sort of a blend of German actually, with some French in it. One of the interesting things about Luxembourg is also the fact that public transport there is completely free, unless of course you want to travel first class, which not everybody does. Well, I don't. So here we are in the city of Luxembourg, the capital city of the country of Luxembourg. A city with more than 1,000 years of history and more than 150 banks. So let's go and check out the banks. Come with me. We have 3 languages in Luxembourg, so I'm looking at signs over here, and you can see that platforms, for example, are written in French. So there's a lot of German here as well, but I see that the signs in the station and also on the train, I noticed the announcement were in French, and here you see voie instead of platform, or as you'd say in German, Gleis. So this is these are French signs. It's fun to be in a bilingual city, especially if you speak both languages. That's an impressive panel over there, a digital panel, very big, unusually big. That facade was there when I came here more than 40 years ago. So this glass part over here is new. I don't remember seeing this. Oh yes, I remember that this place was just one big square over here with no tram line. In the old days, I remember parking my car over there a long time ago. Good God, things really have changed. Well, here we are, in Luxembourg. So there comes the tram. It looks like it's going to be fun. I mean, you can travel in these trams without paying anything. It's not very common in the world, is it, that you see trams that take you to places without charging. Transportation, public transport in Luxembourg is free of cost for everybody, unless of course you want to go first class. So coming out of the station, one of the first things that has struck me is that this is the place of banks. It's very similar to Switzerland in that way. I can see right in front of me a BNP Paribas, there's a Raiffeisen bank over there, there's the Banque de l'État, which is the state bank. So evidently this is very, very similar to Switzerland. Lots of banks, and as I walk along, I guess I'm going to see a lot more banks. So come on, let's go. But I'm trying to figure out where the center is. No idea. The thing is, you just don't know who's a foreigner and who's not over here, because you've got so many foreigners in the country. There are a little bit over 500,000 people living here, 600 and something thousand people, and almost half the population is foreign. And surprisingly, the largest number of foreigners in Luxembourg is Portuguese. Bienvenue à Paris. Okay, so there's a tram stop over here. There's a tram stop over here, and that's in 2 languages. Place de Paris, that's French. And Paris Place, that would be not German, but Luxembourgish. So it's very similar to German, but that's Luxembourgish. So there seems to be an impressive little park here with very grand looking buildings around. That seems to be a fairly old building over there. Very neat and clean, very neat and clean. Nice impression of the city so far. So while I'm relaxing, sitting on this bench in the middle of the city, let me give you a couple of facts about Luxembourg. Luxembourg is considered one of the safest countries in the world. It's actually second in ranking right after Singapore. It is safe, but that doesn't mean that you can just like leave your valuables lying around and let everybody see them. And especially if you want to use a credit card in this country, you do need to be careful because, well, thieves know just as much as everybody else that this is a rich society. That means if they can get hold of your credit card number somehow, well, you're in for it. And the other thing you want to know is that this place is very, very expensive in terms of cost of living. However, if you're on a budget trip, don't worry about it because there are youth hostels where you can actually pay very little money and spend the night without having to worry about your budget. Nice looking piece of art here in the middle of a nice garden, and oops, there's somebody sitting over there. That is my cameraman. I don't know what I'm doing behind the camera, and him in front of the camera. He's certainly not doing his job then.
No, actually someone left a piece of bread over there.
And you're hungry?
I'm hungry, and Luxembourg is very expensive, so...
So you eat leftovers?
Yeah, I suppose.
Another thing that Luxembourg is very famous for is its wines. What you were looking at is not really a vineyard or anything to do with wines, but I'm here going towards the center of the city, and I just thought I should tell you that Luxembourg has award-winning wines, and one of the most well-known ones is Cremant de Luxembourg, and that costs about 12 euros a bottle in 2022. So if you do come to Luxembourg, make it a point to get a bottle. See the cars behind me, lots of cars in Luxembourg. And let me tell you another fact about Luxembourg. Yes, it's true that they have free public transport. It's true that they really don't have to spend money on that, and yet they do. They spend on cars. They have a very, very large number of cars in this country. That's 647 cars for every 1,000 inhabitants. That's a lot if you ask me. So I'm looking at a very big monument here, a statue of a woman on a column. And what I'm reading down here is that this is a homage to the volunteers of the International Brigade that left Luxembourg to defend democratic values during the war in Spain from 1936 to 1939. So this is a people, this is a country that's always fought against fascism, and that has always been very proud of its independence, despite being a very small country surrounded by larger powers. Yes, and it's not just that war, but also the First World War and the Second World War, where the volunteers of Luxembourg went to fight to defend the sovereignty of their country. So, yeah, this is a monument to those who fell in the wars, and also to those who suffered. Not just the soldiers, but all types of Luxembourgers who suffered during the wars. So mark that name, the Grand Duchess Charlotte. She's a very important and iconic figure in the history of Luxembourg. Charlotte Aldegonde Elise Marie Wilhelmine was the Grand Duchess of Luxembourg from 1919 to 1964. Her constitutional reign saw the evolution of Luxembourg into a modern social democratic state. When Nazi Germany overran Luxembourg in May 1940, Charlotte fled with the government, settling in Montreal for the duration of the war. Her frequent radio messages of encouragement were never forgotten by a grateful people. Charlotte's popular reign provided stability during a time of sweeping change. Her steadfast patriotism and democratic sympathies made her a symbol of Luxembourg's sovereignty and prosperity. In our next video, we'll be visiting the city centre of Luxembourg, and I'll be focusing on my search for a very special treat. Bonjour, vous travaillez ici? Est-ce que vous servez le grand petit